At first, it seems like having an electric drive system just adds a lot more complexity, adds a lot of weight, and just makes it too much hassle. But when you break it down, it's really not. All I needed to turn my raft into an electric raft was a motor mount, the motor, and a 12-volt battery. That's it. Everything is plug and play. So if you have to portage, it probably does add an extra trip. So if you're doing a single carry, it becomes a double carry. If it's already a double carry, it becomes a triple carry. But in my opinion, that sort of is offset by the fact that you don't have to paddle. And this isn't just for inflatable rafts. You can also do this with kayaks and canoes as well. Even with just my Minn Kota Endura C2-30, it goes as fast as I'd be able to paddle, probably faster. With my setup and all my gear, it goes about 5.5, maybe 6 kilometers an hour. And it gives you a really consistent speed and distance expectation. And unlike a gas engine, an electric drive system is completely silent. So there's no noise pollution, and because it's electric, there's no exhaust fumes either. And because there's no oil or gas, there's no risk of a chemical spill either. As long as you attach the battery to the boat, even if you dump, nothing's getting chucked into the water to pollute it. And because it's an electric drive system, there's like no maintenance that you have to do either. No oil changes or anything like that. Just got to keep the battery charged. There's no moving parts except for the propeller, so nothing to really break down, which means it's also super reliable. And because it's the electric drive system doing all the work, it gives your actual time out on the water a more relaxed feel. You're not putting all the effort into paddling. You can actually pay attention to the beautiful scenery. With my electric raft setup, just this 100 amp hour battery can get me about 18 kilometers. So my full setup involves 2 of these batteries, and combined with some solar attached and charging it while I'm out on the water, I can get up to 50 kilometers before I gotta charge again. And this setup still has oars to paddle if I run out of power just shy of where I need to stop and charge, or if I don't want to use the motor, such as if I'm in super shallow water because the motor needs about a foot of water to work. So this outboard motor that I have pulls about 360 watts at full throttle. And if you do the math with my 2 batteries, that works out to be a total runtime of approximately 7.5 hours at full throttle. And things get really interesting once you add solar to the mix while you're actually out on the water. With just 120 watt solar panel on a really bright sunny day, that pays for a third of what the motor is consuming at full throttle. If you have the space to add 3 of these solar panels, on a bright sunny day, you're paying for the majority, if not all, of the motor's power requirements just from the sun input. If you have 360 watts of solar while you're set up at camp charging up the batteries, you can charge up both batteries from completely empty to completely full in about a day. So with enough solar, there's no need to be entirely reliant on somewhere to actually stop and charge. So if you go on a raft packing trip, go to camp for a couple nights, arrive on day 1, day 2 spend entirely charging, leave on day 3, and you have full batteries to get back home. And if you are raft packing in more populated areas where there is places to stop and charge, then you don't have to bring the entire boat inside to charge. You just need to detach the 12 volts and carry those inside to charge. As for batteries, traditionally people use lead acid batteries. Unfortunately, those are super heavy, don't have a long lifespan. Nowadays, I personally recommend using a LFP battery, lithium iron phosphate, which has a really good blend of capacity, lifespan, and price. And if you want to see the adventures that I get up to with my electric raft, click the card.